Good morning, Tanisha. How are you?
Good morning. I am great. Thank you. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for being so on time.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. I'm just trying to get everything situated. So, is it okay if I do a test run really quick? Make sure that you can hear everything.
Yeah, I hear you perfectly fine right now, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to do a video. And so I just want to make sure that it works.
Okay. Hi, Carmen. Good morning. No te escucho. You're on silent.
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
Good, good. Thank you. Here's Tanisha.
Hi, Tanisha.
How
She's
are you?
only English?
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. No, you cannot be sorry. You don't have to. Jenny,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask you a favor. I need to do the famous report for commercial report for Alico y Estero, right?
Okay.
Can you help me with that? How do you download information, whatever it is?
I get all the reports from LoopNet, Crexy,
Exactly.
and yeah,
That
I
part is the one that I don't know. The other one, I tell what I've been doing, but that part.
yeah. Yeah, I can show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
After this, you show me.
Sure.
Gracias.
De nada.
So, mira, the event, but before everybody get in, it's gonna be
Yeah.
on the 26th from 3 to 5, right?
That's what I was asking. It's definitely available. So if that's what you guys want to confirm, yes. And then the following weekend is available too as well. So
Okay. Should we send the invite and close it by certain date to see if if there is quorum or not?
we should. We can close it by I guess the maybe 2 weeks before. Let me see. But I would say like the 20th, maybe the 20. No, that's maybe the 18th.
Yeah. So we know, that's what I wanted to know, because, do events and then have 3 person doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll confirm with Brian for the 26th. For 26 from 3 to 5.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
And let's confirm with Raul that he's available too at that time.
That
And
is true.
so maybe we can talk later, a little bit.
Mhm.
Call Raul, I'm gonna start, let me ask Raul
Okay.
una vez.
Yes, I can hear it.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we usually give people about 5 minutes to log in, so at 10:05 we can start.
Yes, they're never
Yeah.
on time.
Not a problem. I can relate. Not a problem. We'll get started as soon as you're ready.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Jenny, one more question. Is it the 26th from 3 to 5, or what is the other option in the morning?
No, or May 3rd, the
No,
following weekend.
yeah, but the time.
No, May 3rd is available both time slots. On the 26th is only in
Okay,
the afternoon.
ok.
Okay.
Eso es lo que quería aclarar. Encontramos el baño para el 26 de abril,
Yeah.
pero de...
Uh, 10:06. Then I say we get started. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, club. I would love to introduce to you guys Tanisha with NACA. How many of you have ever heard of NACA? Levanten la mano, raise your hand. I don't know. Open your microphones.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're really excited about introducing this program to you guys because obviously this month we're kicking off with first-time home buyers. And we just want to give every one of our agents the opportunity to know the resources we have out there, the options we have in order to help our clients. In most cases, us as agents, we want a client that is ready to go with a pre-approved letter, and we don't feel like we want to waste time, right? But the best bonds we can create is somebody that we can guide them from the very start to the very end, somebody that you have faith, and if that's their goal, you're going to guide them through that goal. And if you're able to do that, believe me, they're going to be your client forever, and they're going to give you referrals, and they're just going to see that you believed in their dream. So with that, I want to kick off NACA. We're really excited for today's presentation. Tanisha, thank you so much for being with us. If anybody has any questions, please put it on the chat. And even if it's in Spanish, I'll be more than happy to translate for you guys, okay?
I want to add something. I want to make sure that everybody understands that today is the first class of April, and we're dedicating the entire month to first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Les quiero recordar que estamos comenzando un nuevo mes y el mes de abril está dedicado a compradores por primera vez, personas que compran propiedades por primera vez. Se les estará explicando todos los programas que el gobierno ofrece para beneficiarlos a ellos. Se les estará, les vamos a compartir el calendario en el chat, ¿verdad? Se les está explicando quién es un comprador por primera vez, porque a veces hay confusión con eso. La importancia del follow-up de este tipo de gente, y es dedicado a ellos este follow-up. Y por último, vamos a hacer un workshop en persona, ¿verdad? Para que lleven a sus compradores, se sientan con esta misma gente del gobierno, con los lenders autorizados, y los ayuden a tener la calificación para que ya puedan salir a la calle a comprarles la casa. Parece mentira, pero en la calle hay mucha gente que es first time home buyer y no lo sabe, porque no entiende. Nosotros los realtors tampoco entendemos las características de quién es un first time home buyer. Si nosotros lo tenemos claro, una persona que piensa que no puede comprar, sí puede comprar, sí califica. Y ese es todo este mes, para llevarlos a fin de mes a un evento en el cual ustedes pueden sentarse directamente con la gente de NACA, con la gente del banco, con lenders, con los especialistas en este tema. So, dicho esto, pues ya we're going to give the microphone to NACA, and just take in consideration that this month it will be super important, and we will finish with an event, in-person event, where you can bring your buyers with S, not only one. So we're going to teach you how to find them, who qualify, who will not, and what are the benefits, and make sure that you bring them. And Jenny, let's repeat this at the end of the training, because there are people that are connecting late.
Awesome. No problem.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Carmen. Tanisha, go ahead. Thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. You mentioned, or you asked earlier, oh, and by the way, I'm Tanisha Hubbard. I am the broker for NACA in Florida. So I'm so excited to tell you about NACA. NACA stands for Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. And our core buyers that use our program, or that NACA was founded on, was low to moderate income buyers. So it's so amazing that this month you're really, zooming in on first-time home buyers, because it's hard out here for first-time home buyers to purchase a home. They don't have the equity in a house to take to another home to purchase a home. FHA is a great program, but let's face it, not everyone has 3.5% to put down on a home. So Bruce Marks, who is our CEO, developed NACA just for that mission. And it's she asked, and Jennifer asked, has anyone heard of NACA? And we get this all the time where people have never heard of NACA, but NACA's been around for 30 plus years. But we don't do a lot of marketing. It's really word of mouth and social media. And that's where we get our people from. We do homebuyer workshops. We do dream events all around the US. And that's our way of bringing people in to introduce them to our program and get them into the pathway of home ownership. So I'm going to give you kind of a high level overview of NACA, the program, the mission, because we do more than just getting people into homes. We also save homes. That's also one of our core missions. Back in 2008, when the industry just kind of went belly up and a lot of people were losing their homes, NACA jumped in there to negotiate better terms, better interest rates, better monthly payments for buyers, and putting those delinquent payments at the back of the loan to make sure that they were able to keep their home. And even we were able to, reduce the principal on a lot of homes. So our mission is to get people into homes, but also to save their homes. And you don't have to be a NACA member in order to use our services. So if you know of someone, we're unfortunately, the foreclosure rates are going up, the delinquencies are going up. So if you know of anyone that they're having a hardship with their home and their monthly payments, please direct them to NACA. We're going to reach out to their lender. We're going to negotiate on their behalf, and it's free. We're not in the business of, collecting funds from someone who's already down on their luck. So it's a free service. If you know of someone, send them to NACA. Let's try to negotiate for them to stay in their home, because at the end of the day, that's what we are all about. Okay, so I'm going to jump onto the presentation. You have a video to show. It's kind of lengthy, but it is like literally the core of who NACA is. And so I want to be able to show that to you. NACA is all through the US. So we have 48 offices and we are still growing. So if you know of a family member, a friend, or what have you that wants to go through our program, they can certainly do it in other states as well. And again, our services are free. Okay, so there's no, gotcha, because honestly, when members come to our meetings, that's the first thing they say is, no, this is too good to be true. There's no way that there's a program like this. And I agree. Honestly, when I first heard of it, I was like, no, what's the catch, right? This just seems like there's always a catch when things are too good to be true. But I actually purchased a home through NACA myself before I worked with NACA, and is one of the reasons that I decided to work with NACA and help the mission. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show the video. Bear with me.
The Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, NACA,
Sharks do bite.
is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to end financial exploitation and to stabilize your neighborhoods. We provide the best mortgage product in America. While NACA provides comprehensive housing services, it is first and foremost a confrontational community advocacy organization.
NACA was founded by Bruce Marks more than 30 years ago. He continues to be the CEO and visionary.
Come on, we're going! It is a war waged on many fronts. We take the junkyard dog approach. Once we grab on, we never let go, no matter how long it takes.
NACA is the outgrowth of the Hotel Workers Union Local 26.
The overwhelming majority of our membership are paying somewhere between 60 and 70% of their income towards housing.
Local 26 undertook a 5-year campaign to provide housing assistance for its members. As part of this fight, hundreds of workers went to Washington to change the federal labor law.
Strong enough to challenge the law, strong enough to change a stupid law that says we have no right to negotiate what's good for our family.
In 1990, President Bush changed the federal labor law that hadn't been changed in more than 20 years, and for the first time, a local union was responsible. Now, unions could negotiate to provide down payment and closing cost assistance to workers to make homeownership a reality for working people.
We've always taken the big fights. The NACA goal is to set a standard for the country. But if you're going to be out there fighting the financial predators, you got to take on the big ones. You can't take the easy road. But that sends a message to the institutions out there that says, when NACA takes you on, we're going to do whatever it takes to win.
When you own a piece of the rock, when you own your neighborhood, you rise up and drive the parasites out because you have that power. We have that power.
NACA was the first to spearhead campaigns against predatory lenders. It coined the term predatory lending. Lenders set up borrowers to fail through high interest rates, outrageous fees, and unreasonable terms. Whether it's called loan sharking, subprime lending, or payday lending, the fundamental issue remains the same: the taking from working people and minorities to benefit the wealthy. This is a continuation and expansion of the wealth disparity gap.
How many of you are ready to take the blood-sucking profiteers on? How many of you are down for the fight?
The first target was the largest and most aggressive predatory lender, Fleet Bank. They cut off credit to minority communities while providing lines of credit to loan sharks.
We're staying here to meet with you.
No, you're not staying here to meet with
Well, then you're going to have to arrest us.
In Georgia, where Fleet Finance is based, more than 20,000 borrowers think those sales look more like fins, the fins of loan sharks.
There really were substantial abuses within the industry which wound up causing people to lose their homes for no legitimate reason.
It is a wake-up call to Congress.
This nationwide battle took 4.5 years. It included demonstrations and confrontations wherever Fleet was active. We won the war.
It is welcome news for us that it's decided to embark on this program to commit $8 billion for community lending.
As part of the victory, Fleet not only pledges $8 billion to add to its community lending, but contributes millions to settle lawsuits and funds $140 million to establish NACA's Best in America mortgage program. NACA also convinced Congress to pass new legislation.
I have prepared legislation that will provide an important first step towards filling in the gaps in consumer protection. It's called the Home Ownership and Equity Protection Act of 1993.
The next target was Barnett Bank and its predatory subsidiary, EquiCredit.
The group says it's a grassroots organization that uses persistence to force banks to change their lending practices. In Jacksonville, the bank they've targeted is Barnett.
We believe in confrontation. We believe in being at the banks wherever they go. We go to the analyst meetings. We go to their annual meeting. We go to where they make presentations. And we have a long attention span.
Barnett succumbs to the pressure. NACA exposes and changes Barnett's predatory subsidiary, EquiCredit. And Barnett funds $20 million to the NACA mortgage. First Union was next. In 1995, it was one of the nation's largest lenders and one of the most racist.
He calls himself a bank terrorist, but he uses words, not bombs.
A protest is planned tomorrow against one of Charlotte's biggest banks, First Union.
First Union has some of the worst minority lending practices.
You check us out, you check us out. Fast Eddie!
Fast Eddie is First Union Chief Executive Ed Crutchfield, and he's getting a lot of attention.
Be fair, Eddie! We deserve equality!
These people say First Union stands out, and this battle is getting personal. First Union CEO Ed Crutchfield is on protesters' wanted flyers.
They don't respect working people because they want to lend to their own.
NACA forces First Union to lend to minority borrowers, and it funds $150 million to the NACA mortgage. CEO Ed Crutchfield, the target of the campaign, is personally impacted.
Tonight, a primetime investigation. It manufactures some of the most popular cars in America.
Ford, quality is job one.
But there's another side of the Ford Motor Company you may not know about.
Ford is absolutely a loan shark.
Ford is one of the largest money lenders in the country, and workers inside the company say it used aggressive tactics to put people into debt.
We'd say, what a sucker. Cha-ching. We just made the company some money.
They eat you up and they spit you out. That's Ford Motor Company.
A lot of people are getting fed up with Ford. In Atlanta, thousands packed a church to bear witness against the way they say Ford does business.
They have ripped off our community. They have stolen the wealth out of our neighborhood.
This man is also going after Ford. Bruce Marks, a community activist who has pressured corporations to make available more than $1 billion in low-cost mortgages.
Remember that name, Ford Motor Company? They're vicious. I have a loan with them, two in fact, and it's 24% interest. That's what you 24.
NACA is also victorious against Ford. It reduces interest rates for hundreds of thousands of borrowers, funds $100 million to the NACA mortgage, and divests the associates, then the country's largest finance company. While we won those battles, we recognized that the power of greedy lenders, investors, rating agencies, and others, supported by the government, created a predatory lending wave that could not be stopped. The mortgage and financial crisis was coming, since homebuyers were being lured into mortgages that were structured to fail. On September 12, 2000, Bruce Marks testified in Congress, warning lawmakers.
Without such controls,
Marks was one of the first to predict the crisis, which would have a devastating impact on homeowners and communities nationwide.
Participation in these schemes by the GSEs poses potential risk for the housing and banking industry and for the economy in general.
By 2000, Marks' prediction came true. Millions of people were unable to make their monthly payments and were at risk of foreclosure.
Well, predatory lending has come back with a vengeance.
On August 23, 2007, at the National Press Club in D.C., NACA announces a campaign against Countrywide.
We're back. And now the fight is going after the biggest player out there, and that is Countrywide Financial.
At the time, it was considered untouchable and the gold standard in lending.
They're demanding Countrywide save face and their homes by rewriting mortgages.
NACA got what it demanded. Countrywide signs a legally binding agreement with NACA to reduce interest rates and outstanding principal amounts, making their predatory mortgages affordable. Countrywide participates in NACA's Save the Dream events to modify mortgages. NACA's next target, Bear Stearns.
The chant Main Street, not Wall Street. Angry homeowners today storming the Bear Stearns building in Manhattan.
Let's make sure that they hear us. Let's spread out, and we're staying.
The government is going to do anything. They allow working women and men who worked hard to buy their homes and to provide a roof over the head of their families.
It's an unprecedented giveaway of taxpayers' money. Why should our hard-earned money be used to benefit and subsidize the people that created the mortgage crisis?
Bear Stearns signs a legally binding agreement with NACA to reduce interest rates and outstanding principal amounts, making their predatory mortgages affordable. Bear Stearns participates in NACA's Save the Dream events to modify mortgages. The backbone of NACA's aggressive nonviolent advocacy is to hold the decision makers personally responsible for their actions.
We want her! We want her! We want her! We want her!
Herb Allison, CEO of Fannie Mae, which sets the industry standard for lending, was confronted by NACA as we blocked their main entrance.
Look us in the eye. Don't look at your bottom line. Look us in the eye and see what you've done. And we're going to make you responsible for what you've done. And you're going to bring some solutions to the table. That's right.
Fannie Mae signs a legally binding agreement with NACA to reduce interest rates and outstanding principal amounts, making their predatory mortgages affordable. Fannie Mae participates in NACA's Save the Dream events to modify mortgages.
They are on the verge of losing their own homes, so they decided to move in here. This is the Greenwich, Connecticut home of William Fry, a hedge fund manager who is trying to stop people from renegotiating subprime mortgages and avoiding foreclosure. Fry is suing Bank of America to keep it from issuing these new affordable loans to owners in need.
We work hard to buy these homes, and then we got tricked into these predatory loans, and now we can't afford them, and they don't want to help us.
And the lenders say they don't want to modify loans because they're afraid of being sued by Bill Fry. Well, we say Bill Fry needs to be afraid that people know where he lives.
Bill Fry's lawsuit fails. He stops his advocacy against homeowners.
They're causing financial violence on us. Right. So it's important that we see where the predators live. This is John Mack's house. Yeah! John Mack, he is the CEO of Morgan Stanley. They own Saxon Mortgage, and Saxon Mortgage services hundreds of thousands of mortgages, and they refuse to restructure those mortgages to make them affordable over the long term. We're going to do a picket line around his house. Let's go, yeah, around the house. We are NACA! We are NACA! Come on, everybody, NACA! Fucking name. Too small. Everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! Carry, go that way. Carry, go.
They've seen who we are now. They know who we are.
They've seen who we are. They know who we are. It's almost like, take a look at me. I'm your problem now.
I get a call on my cell phone 20 minutes later that we want to work this thing out.
This is like the rise of the proletariat. We've seen this before historically, but certainly not recently in our country.
Well, what it says that we were disciplined and organized, and we pierced that veil. We pierced that comfort level that they have. But $400 million buys them privacy. No longer.
Saxon Mortgage signs a legally binding agreement with NACA to reduce interest rates and outstanding principal amounts, making their predatory mortgages affordable. Saxon participates in NACA's Save the Dream events to modify mortgages.
They got the money, but they're not giving it to the people.
Martin Luther King would have stood up for something. Jesus stood up for something. We got to stand up for something.
And then we're going to go to Wall Street, okay?
Chase Bank signs a legally binding agreement with NACA to reduce interest rates and outstanding principal amounts, making their predatory mortgages affordable. Chase participates in NACA's Save the Dream events to modify mortgages. With legally binding agreements with all the major lenders and investors, NACA did what no one else thought possible. We organized massive events at convention centers nationwide, providing same-day solutions for homeowners with unaffordable mortgages.
So what I do is I take your mortgage payment and I reduce it by the total deficit that you have.
These events, taking place over at least 5 days each, attracted tens of thousands of homeowners at risk of foreclosure. At each event, NACA counselors teamed up with lenders who had hundreds of staff on site to provide affordable solutions.
It's a good thing for the banks. We do the work for them. It's a win-win situation.
Saving homes and saving lives.
It's a last-ditch effort for hundreds of homeowners on the verge of foreclosure.
More than 1,000 people wait in line downtown in hopes they can save their homes.
Hundreds of thousands of people fighting to keep their homes from foreclosure. It's become a nearly insurmountable challenge.
You can see there are thousands of people. They're expecting tens of thousands of people here to get their mortgages.
Dozens of people are spending the night outside in the cold and rain, hoping to hold on to their homes. This is a lot.
And camped out in order to guarantee their spot in line.
Losing their homes. Thousands pleading with bankers today, hoping to catch a break.
You see people from different walks of life, all in the same predicament.
Across the country are converging on South Florida. They're looking for help to stay in their homes.
Very clear picture of the level of strain and suffering the foreclosure crisis is creating for families. Look no further than Daly City.
For a moment, we are inside the convention center where the NACA...
This could be the last chance of saving the place
This facility is packed with people looking to refinance their mortgage and save.
Wow, Diana, look at that crowd behind you.
It's unbelievable, Michelle. Just take a look around. Look at it. Friday night, what are you doing? Look at what these people are doing, and they will probably sleep
Just
here.
the first stop for what is really a mobile servicing center. Plans are being made to take it on the road across the country.
This is the devastation that these banks have caused. No one should have to be sleeping here overnight, staying 24, 48 hours just to save their homes. And everybody who's tried to work with the banks has failed. And this is the consequence. This is like a war zone, and it's a war zone in America.
Despite the opposition from government and others, the results were extraordinary. Over the 144 Save the Dream events, more than 250,000 homeowners at risk of foreclosure obtained affordable same-day solutions, and many more obtained modifications through NACA's Home Save program. Homeowners were able to reduce their interest rate to as low as 2% and sometimes lower their outstanding principal, saving hundreds and often more than $1,000 in their monthly mortgage payments.
Our mortgage was $4,200, it's now $2,100. Saving me $1,000 a month.
My monthly payment has been reduced $3,000. It's amazing. Thank you.
They brought our interest rate down from 10% to 2%. We're saving $1,100 a month on our loan.
If it wasn't for NACA, I won't be this happy today.
My mortgage payment used to be $2,235, and now they lowered it to $1,309. And you guys just hold on. There is help and there is hope at the end of the rainbow.
There is a CRA protester who spends 4 years harassing a bank and a bank's president. Finally, the bank craters and gives them $1.4 million, gives them $200,000 to set up their organization. They now got 20 offices, lending $3.5 billion.
A decade later, NACA has more than 50 offices nationwide, and major lenders have committed more than $13 billion. We provide the best mortgage in America. No down payment, no closing cost, no perfect credit, and always at a below market fixed rate.
My interest rate is 2.75. I bought it down by 1%, and my monthly payment is $11.32.
My interest rate is 1.75%. I pay $628 a month.
Brought down my interest rate to 2.875, and my payment is $675 a month.
The interest rate is 1.75, and my payment is $902.
Interest 0.5%, and I paying $710 a month.
I have an interest rate 0.87, and I pay $580.
My interest rate was 3.5. I pay $686 a month.
NACA is absolutely the real deal.
I have a mortgage payment of $615. Being this young and going in on a house purchase by myself, I didn't think that was possible, but NACA is truly amazing.
I've been in America for 10 years now, and this is probably the first American dream I've experienced.
I really did get my dream home. It was everything. Thank you.
Bank of America has been our largest partner over more than 20 years. In 1995, it committed $500 million to the NACA mortgage. 4 years later, $3 billion. Another $3 billion 4 years after that, and in 2011, it raised their commitment to $3.5 billion. In total, $10 billion to help minority and low-income borrowers afford homes.
By identifying qualified applicants, giving them the financial management skills they need, and creating a financial safety net for those who need a little help in crisis, that the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America was just the partner I was looking for.
Loan amount $252. My mortgage payment is $1,250, and just in a year's time, the value of the house has gone up to $340 already.
My loan is $200,000. My interest rate is 2%, and my mortgage payments is $0. I own a duplex, and my other renter is covering my costs.
NACA has built the strongest foundation in the mortgage industry for lending to low and moderate income borrowers. We've added a 15-year mortgage that allows you to build wealth quickly.
0.05 interest rate for 15 years. It's a blessing. It's fantastic.
Another program allows Section 8 participants to use their Section 8 rental payments as mortgage payments. Called HOT PHA, it provides unprecedented homeownership opportunities. NACA continues to develop its state-of-the-art operations with a streamlined mortgage process. There's much more to come as we expand these programs and develop additional financial services products for working people.
I think people will take more pride in the community because it's their property.
This is hope. This is light at the end of the tunnel.
NACA believes in the principle that we are thy brother's keeper. Over the past 30 years, we've won the battles, and together we will continue to win the fight for economic justice. With more than 2 million members, we are a unique and powerful force as we act to make fundamental changes for working people.
And you're not just a house on bricks, you're actually a human being. I can go home and say, I have a home, thanks to NACA.
We require people to volunteer.
You need to see a counselor? Just a minute. Let me see if I can get someone for you.
In whatever way they feel comfortable.
Be part of the demonstrations, helping out at a Save the Dream event, helping in our offices, helping getting the word out.
There is no fight that is too big or too small, that together we cannot win.
Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America is one of the greatest home buying programs there is.
Because it can really change the course of your life, the course of the life that you create for your family. Greatest program in America, honestly.
The doors of NACA are open for you. Go next week, make an appointment, I'll get you home.
Welcome to the NACA family.
Let it shine for NACA. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine for NACA. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Oh my goodness, how inspiring. Are you guys inspired?
Had me tearing up for a second there.
Same every time. And I've seen this video probably 500 times and I still tear up just seeing what people go through, you know, with purchasing a home. And even being able to purchase a home. The American dream is not always attainable for everyone just through the regular ways of purchasing a home, you know, 3.5%. That's not always attainable. So let's get into how homeownership is possible with NACA. And then I'm going to break it down a little bit more as far as what we provide, because it touched on it in the video, but I'm sure you were like, wait a minute, no money down, no closing costs, no PMI, below market interest rate. Like, how is that even possible? So for a homeowner to purchase through NACA, here's the basic steps. So they'll attend a home buyer workshop. That's their first introduction to NACA. They're going to show them that video. NACA is the largest HUD certified nonprofit organization. So the home buyer workshop is 4 hours, give or take. They're going to learn about the process of purchasing a home. They will get their NACA ID at that time. They will understand budgeting and what we're looking for and what we need in order to get them qualified. When they walk out that day, they will already have their access to their portal. Well, they'll be able to upload the documents, and then they will click on a link for an intake session. They'll sign up for a date and time that works for them. They can either do it in person or they can do it via Zoom. Majority of people prefer to do the Zoom, but we're okay with it either way. In Miami, we are looking for office space, hope to have that soon. But we still have, our loan officers, we call them mortgage counselors. We have mortgage counselors in Miami that are bilingual, and we have mortgage counselors all throughout Florida that are bilingual. Also, so in that intake session, they'll set up a time and date that works for them to do their intake session. At their intake session is where the mortgage counselor is going through their file. They're looking to see their income, and that income could be a job, it could be 1099, it can be if they SSI, whatever their income is. They're looking to see their status, how long, if they're renting or if they're staying with someone, and they can purchase either way, just different criteria. And we'll get them through the qualification steps. Now, with NACA, one of the many things that I love about NACA is, especially with our new homeowners, a lot of times they're not equipped to get qualified or pre-approval right then and there. And that's where we lose them, right? They're excited about the possibility, and then they go talk to a loan officer and their bubble is busted and they give up. And we lose them as a potential buyer. With NACA, we don't let that happen, because if a member isn't available or cannot qualify immediately, we give them an action plan. When I purchased a home through NACA, I needed an action plan. And it tells you exactly what you need to do. And it gives you a date. So it might be 3 months. You need to save, we need to see you save $1,000 a month for 3 months. And then at the end, it's going to tell you when you can be qualified. And a lot of buyers, if they can't get qualified right away, they may be told, oh, go see, talk to someone that does credit counseling or what have you, but they're getting all of that for free with NACA. And a target date. And with buyers, if you give them a plan, an action plan, and you give them a specific date, if you do all of these things and you come back to me in 6 months, I'm going to qualify you for a house. It gives them something that's attainable and not just, go do this, go do that, and then come back and we'll see. So that way we're able to keep them towards, home ownership instead of losing them because they don't qualify right away. Once the member is qualified, then they'll go to a purchase workshop. The purchase workshop can be done remotely. We also have the purchase workshop in Spanish as well. Then they'll go out and look for a property. Once the property, step 7, once the property, if they have identified a property, they've got under contract. And this is, of course, where you'll step in because you are going to be the one that's going to help them find their home. Once they're under contract, you're going to upload all of the documents, the contract, the addendums, and there is a deeper dive for outside agents, so we'll talk more about that and what you need to do. Once everything is uploaded, then the mortgage counselor is going to take over They're going to go through all the documents, make sure that they have everything that's needed, and then they're going to send the documents over to Bank of America, who is our lender. Keep in mind that NACA is like the front end. We are a nonprofit organization. We are doing the mission and getting the members in. And then once they go under contract and we have verified that they can purchase this property based on their approved payment, then they go over to Bank of America, work with their underwriters to get them to the closing table. Now let's do a bit of a deep dive into the NACA product. And what does that mean? So when we say no money down, no closing costs, no points or fees, below market interest rate, right now, if it hasn't changed, our interest rate for NACA is 5.625. That's across the board. That's what the interest rate is. There's no mortgage insurance, interest rate buy down. The buyer can do that. It's not necessary. But also with our buy down, which is really nice and why you saw so many people in the video saying how low their interest rate is because with the NACA product, the buyer can have their interest rate bought down more aggressively than traditional lending. For instance, the seller can go up to 10% of the purchase price. That's huge. The seller alone can do up to 10% of the interest rate for the buy down. The buyer can do anywhere from 4 to 6% of the purchase price. So even if a buyer has maybe a lower affordability, with buying down the interest rate, that can make that home affordable. No perfect credit is required, and we do not consider the credit score. We do not even look at the credit score. What we do more of character-based finance. So we're looking for on-time payments. We're looking for your rent that has been paid on time. So we're looking for on-time payments and with rent. NACA has two categories when it comes to buyers, because remember, the program is geared towards priority members. Our priority members are members who are below the median income. So those are our low to moderate income buyers. They automatically receive the lower interest rate. Members that are higher earners can also use the NACA product. However, in order to use our product, there are some variables such as where they purchase. Because part of our mission is to bring higher earners into lower MSA areas to bring up those areas. So if you are a higher earner, you can still use the NACA product. However, to get the lower interest rate, the 5.625, they would have to purchase in a median tract income that's below 80%. If they purchase in a tract that is below 100, but higher than 80, they can still use the program. However, they will have 1% higher interest rate. So instead of the 5.625, it'll be 5.625. It'll be 6.675. So automatically, the member that is a priority member whose income is below 100% can purchase anywhere and gets the lower interest rate. Our higher earners, it depends on it. They have to purchase in certain areas in order to be able to use this program, and that will also determine what their interest rate will be. What kind of homes can you purchase with the NACA product? Pretty much anything. You can do single family detached, attached. We don't really have row houses here, but they can do mobile homes, townhomes, manufactured homes. A manufactured home has to be at least a double wide. They can also do multifamily. You heard in the video where the gentleman said that he bought a duplex and what he charges for rent covers his mortgage. With NACA, you can do up to a 4-family. However, it does require landlord training, and we do have that training available to our members for free. And it does require additional reserves because we want to make sure that that member has money tucked away just in case something comes up that the AC goes out, or if a repair comes up that needs to be done ASAP, we want to make sure that they're financially able to do so. The member can also purchase a condo. However, there must be 50% homeowner occupancy, or the HOA must be financially sound. And we have that a lot in Florida, especially with the condos. We want to make sure that the HOA, the funds can support roofs being changed, replaced, maintenance, things of that nature. We don't see this a whole lot in Florida, but you can do a mixed use where there's like a business on the first floor, and then up top there is a unit, but that does also require additional reserves. Determining affordability. With NACA, the members' affordability is, our margins are different than traditional lending because we want to make sure that the buyer isn't exhausting so much of their income into their housing. So the standard for NACA is 33% of their income. And we also use their current housing payment as the baseline for their affordable mortgage. So if the member is currently paying $1,500 for their apartment, that's the base standard that we're going to use. If their income is justifiably where they could pay more, we will take that into consideration. What we're going to look for is that, let's say that their 33% would actually afford them a $2,000 monthly payment. If they're only paying $1,500, then we're going to say, or we're going to look for that $500 difference. Have you been saving that monthly for at least 6 months? And if you haven't, you need to save that. They'll do 3 to 6 months. Let me see that you're saving that in your account every month, and you don't need to touch it. Our systems are set up to look at their monthly bank statements and look at where they're drawing their money from. If we ever see that, they're dipping into their savings because they can't afford their current lifestyle, we're not going to increase their payment to what the 33%. Because again, we want to make sure that when you get into this home, that you stay in the home. Our delinquency rate with Bank of America is like 0.00119, if I'm not mistaken. And that's because of our advocacy as
Ya le escribí a Tanisha. Hopefully she'll join us in 2 seconds.
Technical difficulties.
I'm like, wait, what happened?
Disculpen. Sí, no sé qué pasó, pero bueno. Things happen.
Yes.
I thought it was just me.
Yo también.
No. Isn't this program interesting, guys?
Super.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I wanna see, I wanna volunteer. I used to do
Yes.
mortgages about 30 years ago. I would love, it is so fulfilling to help people the first time. It is just,
When I
it's very
first learned
beautiful.
of the program, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because you know how many people we get that come to us looking for help, and it's like our traditional lending doesn't give us that opportunity to help them because if their credit's not there, or their income is not there, or the different variables that, usually that are required are not met, then that's it. We can't help them until further, until a
Yes,
year or 2 years from now.
I have to share something if I can with a group.
Yeah, go ahead.
My a manicurist I used to go to a few years ago. Yes, it was about 3 years ago. But anyways, a manicurist, and she's married to her husband. I'm sorry, that sounds dumb. She's married to a barber. Yeah, she's married to her husband. Wow. Okay, she's married to a barber. The manicurist and the barber were able to qualify with NACA.
Oh, wow.
And
So you are
I
aware of
did
this program.
I didn't help them with the house purchase, but I like to hear, even if someone is not working with me, I like to hear that they had a good experience and how it went. And I mean, I wish people well. There's enough business for everybody. And she bought a house. So then my question was like, where is the house? I mean, I didn't say it like that, but that's what I was thinking. Where is the house? And it was something like East Hialeah or something. But as you all know, what has happened in Florida, even East Hialeah is, they're
Everything is
happy.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah, they're jubilant. And they had some requirements post closing because I remember I saw her a while later and she says, Rosie, it's been a year that we own our house and we just finished some requirements of our loan. So evidently some people they'll have different loans, but they had even confessed that they had filed bankruptcy. So people, this is doable if the house, if they like what's available in the price range that they qualify for.
Well, that's the
Which
thing.
is
It's
all.
like it's not that they have a certain type of homes or a certain listing of homes. As a matter of fact, once the client is pre-qualified by NACA, they'll be given a pre-approval letter, let's say, right? And they can go
Right.
shopping with us. It's the same process. We choose the
Of course,
house,
of course, of course.
and if it's according to their price point, then they proceed.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. That's wonderful. Um, yeah.
I'm sending her a message. Hopefully she'll log in quickly.
And I'm wondering
Give
if
her
it's
a
a little
call.
bit if it's a little bit less challenging, if not a house, a fee simple townhouse.
1 second. Bueno, she's not answering right now, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But either way, I know that the program is extraordinary and it's a real thing. It's something that thousands of people are definitely taking advantage of. And it is a much slower process, right? So we don't necessarily want to direct all of our clients that route. But if it's a client that it's tried the traditional way and they're not able to qualify, then why not? Eventually they'll be ready, and eventually, if it's non-traditional, this is the easy, I wouldn't say the easiest, but definitely this is an avenue for them to get their dream home, and we can still help them along the way.
Very beautiful.
So yes. So as Carmen was saying, it is 11. So if anything, I mean, if you guys want, we can definitely arrange a part 2 to NACA at some point. I don't know if she's going to connect herself with us, but it's already 11. I wanted just to remind you guys that we are very excited about our in-person first-time homebuyer workshop. That's going to be really exciting. It's the first time we're going to do that, where we, not only us as agents that are, pretty much getting ourselves, I don't want to say educated because we're constantly getting educated, right? But we're getting the tools on knowing what other options we can present to our clients, because we want to think if there's only the one way or the two ways, but there's so many different options out there, including down payment assistance programs and all these different things that we don't even think that that's an option, or we don't even remember to consider it, right? Our clients are usually coming at us or for us to give us like looking for advice. It's like they see us as the professionals and the people that can really guide them through the process. But if we don't have these tools in our forefront, then it's very hard to give them that option. It's like, wait, if this doesn't work, let me see what else we can, we can share with you. So during this month, like Carmen said, we are going to be providing different tools and things you could remember to have once you start talking to these first-time home buyers. So don't feel like you don't have the knowledge to guide them through the process. And not only that, but on April 26th, we are going to have a workshop where you can bring these first-time home buyers to the location, and we're going to have these professionals also talking to them. So that way they can feel like, okay, I'm definitely taking a step forward to that home purchasing process, and they can be more committed to the journey. So do you guys have any questions?
Where are you having this meeting? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
My
I didn't hear.
apologies. Where is the meeting going to be held, please?
It's
Do you
going
know?
to be held. Yeah, so Carmen posted right there. Oh, Tanisha, yeah, you came back. I was trying to hold the front for you.
It's myself.
Yeah, you came back. So it's going to be on April 26th, and we are going to do it at the public library in Westchester. And like I said, the idea is for you guys to come, not only you as yourself as an agent to further educate yourselves, but to bring your client. And at this point, we're going to be talking to the client, not you as an agent. Because at this point, by that time, you as an agent will have all the tools in your harness. Okay. Thank you, Tanisha, for returning to us. We were very sad that you were gone for
But we
5
need
minutes.
to wrap it up.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I just have one question, if possible. It's very important for me to understand, like, I know this program, I love this program, and I've tried many times with clients, and my challenge is if you could give us a real example, if not now, I don't know if you're coming to the in-person class, but it's very important to have a real example of affordability. For instance, like this family in this county, their income limit is this, and with this income limit, they could buy a home this much. Because in that way, we could understand, like, okay, if this is their max, it's for their income. Let's say, for example, they can only afford a $1,500 payment, and that puts them in a $200,000 home. Then that's not real for Miami-Dade County. That's not real for different counties. So then we know, oh, okay, this program will work for this other county, and then we'll focus on promoting this on those counties that we know that income limit is going to actually get them into a home. So that's important.
Definitely, but keep in mind, there's no income limits for NACA. There's a max amount that you can purchase, but there's no income limits.
But what I mean with income limit, you were mentioning that they need to qualify to be a low income family. Below, you know what I mean? They cannot make more money than this. Like, if you make more money than this, you don't qualify for NACA, or you can't.
But no, there's no income limits whatsoever. I think what you're referring to is our low to moderate income buyers are the ones that are automatically going to get the lower interest rate. Our higher earners can use NACA. It's not a problem. It's just that where they can purchase is limited.
Okay, so it's just the location. So it doesn't matter if a family, they are making $300,000 a year, as long as they want to buy in a neighborhood to help the mission of bringing that neighborhood up, and they find a home they like in that specific area, they will qualify. It's not like in some other programs, because we know some other programs that have income limits. Like, if you make more than $60,000 a year, then you don't qualify for this program. So $60,000 a year won't get me into a home more than $200,000. So where do I put this family in Miami-Dade if I can't find a home for $200,000 in Miami-Dade?
I apologize that I was talking to myself earlier, but yes, so great call out. No, you can make I've had executives use product, Amazon executives. professors, because it's just an amazing program.
Got it.
And you know, they bought wonderful homes in wonderful areas and got the lower interest rate. So it's still a great program regardless of how much money you make. And I even asked, like, why are you using NACA? You could get a home anywhere. You have plenty of savings. He said, I don't want to put 20% down on a house. I'd rather use that in investments. I get it and I agree. So, and also hot PHA, someone with a housing voucher, if you know someone that has a housing voucher, they can use that with NACA to get a home. So there's just so many different, you know, snippets. Also, grants. We use grants. We're on a lot of the grants approval list down in Miami. We use grants a lot to help affordability. So compounding those things helps our buyers get into. Right now, our hottest office or location is Miami. We're
Yeah,
closing
obviously.
left and right. So it's a good time in Miami for our NACA buyers.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amazing. How are
Yep.
tips counted? Are they taken into account as part of income? Like,
Honestly, I don't know. I try to stay in my lane. That's
right.
I'm not
It's a
positive.
lender question.
Apologize. Yes. But I did put the link in the chat box. Just remember that it is a requirement for you to attend our Red Introduction to NACA. It's every Tuesday from 12 to 2, and it's on our NACA website. And that will really get into the nuts and bolts of how you can bring your buyer, represent your buyer, and still get paid just like a traditional transaction.
Lovely.
All right. And I'm also
Lovely.
going to put my information here in the chat box in case any of you have any questions or if I can assist in any way. Please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was amazing having you, Tanisha.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you so much. I'm going to put my information here and hey,
Thank you. Thank you, guys. So everything else is going
Thank
to
you.
be in the club's chat. So be on the lookout for that, the calendar, the invite to our workshop. And of course, Tanisha's information will also be there.
Super. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Beautiful
Ciao.
day. Ciao.
This was great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Fantastic.